Is it too early to become delusional about Lewis Hamilton winning an eighth title this year? And I know how that sounds, especially when you consider how Ferrari were performing in 2025. And probably there's too much hype about how probably they are better in 2026 than they were in 2025. And I would want to actually give a full disclosure at this particular point. I am a big fan of Formula One, but more particularly, I am a big supporter of Lewis Hamilton. I have supported him when he was at McLaren, I supported him when he was at Mercedes, and I now fully support him at Ferrari. And I know there is always a question, or some of my friends keep asking me, Joe, do you support the team or do you support the driver? And I have a kind of a two answer to that particular question. Yes, I support teams, but equally I support specific drivers. And in this particular case, my bet is on Lewis Hamilton. And if you are a Lewis Hamilton fan, I would want you to also tell me whether this is too early to start becoming delusional, or we should hold our horses and wait for a few more races before we start becoming dreamers or delusional about winning races and winning title in this particular season. I'm particularly getting excited from the results of FP1 and FP2 in Australia because Ferrari looked very promising. If this is the first time that you and I are meeting, I am Joe, and on this particular YouTube channel, I talk about Formula One and the business of Formula One, and I would really appreciate it if you could consider subscribing to this YouTube channel. And what particularly caught my attention is that Ferrari were actually learning the standard rear wing configuration. And given that during testing in Bahrain, we saw them kind of introduce a flip wing, it makes you wonder whether they are keeping that for later races in the year, or they want to use that during qualifying. And if that's the case, then it means that they might have something of kind of a secret, or something that would give them some additional advantage when it comes to performance, especially when it comes to that kind of a one-lap performance when it comes to qualifying. Now, if you look at the overall performance of various teams during the FP1 and FP2, there is a mix of results. Some teams seems to be relatively doing well. For example, Audi was quite stable. It is looking also like a good team. You can look at others that are also doing very well. Of course, there are teams that are struggling. A very good example is Aston Martin. And also you have other teams that are really promising. And Mercedes and Ferrari at this particular point look like they are the teams to beat. It looks like they are the teams that would probably be the first and second in these early stages. Of course, you cannot discount the fact that Red Bull and McLaren might be sandbagging. But I think when we get to qualifying, it will become clearer who has been hiding performance and who has not been hiding any performance. But at this particular moment, Ferrari looks good, Charles Leclerc looks good, Hamilton looks good, and to me, the fact that he's not complaining as much as he was using the other car in 2025, that's already a win, and he seems to be very comfortable on track. And like someone already said, and I think it was Martin Brother who already said this, a happy Hamilton is actually a winning Hamilton, and that can only be very good news for those of us who particularly support Lewis Hamilton. The Formula One season in 2026 is going to be a long one, and even if you are to remove the Bahrain Grand Prix and the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix from the calendar, it would still be a very long season. And it is not going to be won based on probably one race or a number of races. It requires a team and also drivers to be consistent over the entire period of the season. And this is what I would expect from Lewis Hamilton if Ferrari has been able to develop and build a car that actually can fight for wins and that can also fight for championship. And of course, this is not going to be easy for Hamilton because Charles Leclerc is also a remarkable good driver and he has pace. But I think what I have learned from Hamilton based on his time at Mercedes, it is that yes, he could also be beaten by Bottas, especially in qualifying and also in races. But I think he had that ability to actually win over the course of the entire season. And I think that's what probably Charles has not been tested on. He has not been tested race after race for an entire season. He has had moments of brilliance, one or two races here and there. If Ferrari has truly developed a car that can win the championship in 2026, I think this is going to be a race that will be won not by one or two races, but over the course of the entire season. And I think that's where we are going to witness the brilliance of both Hamilton as well as Charles Leclerc. And this is going to be it for this particular video. I hope you have found some value. I hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, watch the video on your screen right now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you have not. And I'm going to see you in my next video.